I've been warning y'all about the Salafi publishing companies altering and changing the text of classical Islamic sources. Now we have AI. It's going through all the different sources and showing how the Salafi publishing companies, Darussalam and their like, have been altering and changing classical Islamic texts and the sayings of our imams, omitting and editing things they don't like out of books, distorting the classical beliefs of Islam to English-speaking Muslims. Allahu Akbar.
Saudi alteration of classical Islamic texts. Extensive examples. Overview. Saudi Arabia, particularly through its Wahhabi-influenced institutions, has a documented history of editing, omitting, or reinterpreting classical Islamic texts to align with its doctrinal positions. This process often involves removing or altering passages that support practices or beliefs rejected by the Wahhabi Salafi school. Key methods of alteration. Omission of chapters or passages. Entire sections supporting practices like visiting the Prophet's grave, intercession, tawassul, or Sufi customs are removed or heavily edited. Selective translation. When translating works, only those passages that fit Wahhabi doctrine are included, while others are omitted or reworded. Editorial, footnotes, and reinterpretation. Editors add footnotes to reinterpret or dismiss classical positions that contradict Wahhabi views, sometimes labeling them as innovations or errors. Specific examples. 1. Imam Nawawi's Al-Adhkar. In Saudi published editions, the chapter on visiting the grave of the Prophet is often retitled or removed entirely. Supplications related to visiting the grave are omitted, reflecting Wahhabi opposition to such practices, which they consider innovations. 2. Ibn Taymiyyah's works. While Ibn Taymiyyah is favored by Wahhabi scholars, even his works are selectively published. Passages where he shows leniency towards certain Sufi practices or criticizes literalist interpretations are sometimes omitted or downplayed in Saudi editions. Editorial interventions frequently present his anti-Sufi polemics as normative, while more nuanced or conciliatory passages are marginalized. 3. Hadith collections and legal texts. In Saudi-printed hadith collections, narrations or commentary supporting practices like tawassul, seeking intercession through the Prophet or saints, are sometimes omitted or footnoted to warn readers against following them. Classical legal texts, especially from the Shafi'i and Hanafi schools, are edited to remove or downplay rulings on issues like celebrating the Prophet's birthday, Maulid, or visiting graves, which Wahhabism rejects. 4. General editorial practices. The rise of the muhaqqiq, verifier, editor, role in the modern Arab world, especially in the 20th century, allowed editors to reshape classical texts under the guise of verification. This often meant stripping away what were labeled as superstitions or Sufi deviations to present a purified, reformist version of Islam. Figures like Rashid Rida and later Saudi publishers used this approach to popularize a Salafi reading of Islamic heritage, influencing which texts were published and how they were presented. Impact. These editorial practices have had a profound effect on Islamic scholarship, especially in the global South and among English-speaking Muslims, where Saudi-published books are often the most accessible. The result is a narrowing of the Islamic tradition to align with Wahhabi Salafi ideology, often at the expense of the diversity found in classical sources. Al-Adhkar. Omission of grave visitation chapters, supplications. Grave visitation, seen as innovation. Ibn Taymiyyah's fatwa. Selective publishing, omitting, conciliatory passages, emphasize anti-Sufi polemics. Hadith collections. Omission, footnoting of pro-intercession narrations, intercession viewed as shirk. Shafi'i, Hanafi, legal texts, removal of pro-Maulid, pro-grave visitation rulings, align with Wahhabi doctrine. Saudi Arabia's editorial interventions are part of a broader project to reshape Islamic heritage in line with its religious ideology, often by editing out or reinterpreting the sayings of classical imams that do not conform to Wahhabi views,